The United States is the world's largest economy and has a high standard of living.
Similarly, China's population is large, but its standard of living is lower than that of the United States on average. China has a strong interest in taking over the US's economy for two main reasons: 1. To raise their standard of living, and 2. To lower the US's standard of living. What made the USA so successful? First, it was blessed with resources, including human resources, and second, it had a government that was committed to free market capitalism. The US, for all its faults, has been a beacon for the world because of its economic strength. The 4 Brics nations are not blessed with resources and their governments are not committed to free market capitalism. So why should the Brics nations take over the USA? Raise their standard of living. This would be done by raising the wages and benefits for workers so that they are closer to those in the US. Lower the US's trade deficit with Mexico. This would be done by increasing imports from Mexico, such as manufacturing, agricultural and service products. Increase the number of jobs in American manufacturing. This would be accomplished by improving the US's terms of trade with China on manufactured goods, which would cause more demand for US-made goods that would create more jobs. The protectionist plan. This plan seeks to raise tariffs on imported goods and lower those on exported ones so that we may have a new Cold War. The international order we have relied on to prevent another world war since 1945 is under siege. And the biggest threat to our security is not Russia, nor is it China.
It is the United States of America.
The end of the Pax Americana era is something that will be sorely felt in the decades to come. We have grown used to other nations following the lead of the United States, either out of deference once or out of fear. No nation will willingly take up that role, and as a result, we will see increasing tensions across the globe. This passage explains the international order that has existed since 1945 to prevent a new world war. It is under siege in the sense that it is threatened by the US's failure to lead, but also because its influence has waned as other countries rise up. It is the US's actions that are threatening to bring about a new world war, and it is because of the US's failure to lead that other nations refuse to do so. Brics Alliance. The future of global power. The Brics is an association of 5 major emerging national economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The Brics countries, with the exception of South Africa, all face slowing growth rates. South Africa's economy is on a positive trajectory and should grow by some 1.5% in 2016. The Brics, with the exception of South Africa, all face slowing growth rates. Brazil's economic growth is expected to slow from 1.4% in 2015 to 0.4% in 2016, Russia's from 2.1% to 1.5%, China's from 6.7% to 6.2%, and India's from 7.4% to 5.6%. The Brics countries, with the exception of South Africa, all face slowing growth rates. South Africa's economy is on a positive trajectory and should grow by some 1.5% in 2016. The Brics, with the exception of South Africa, all face slowing growth rates. The Brics nations are big on the internet, which means they have a huge presence on the web. There is no such thing as a Silk Road for the internet. That's just one of many myths about it. The internet is a borderless system, and so it is relatively easy for people in the Brics nations to share information and work with people in other countries. The Brics countries do not exist in a vacuum. They are in constant contact with the world and each other, and this allows for a lot of collaboration among their digital economies. The internet is revolutionizing the world of business, so it is no surprise that the Brics have realized this change and have been at the forefront of it. The internet is a borderless system, and so it is relatively easy for people in the Brics nations to share information and work with people in other countries. The Brics countries do not exist in a vacuum. They are in constant contact with the world and each other, and this allows for a lot of collaboration among their digital economies. The Internet is revolutionizing the world of business, so it is no surprise that the BRICS have a lot to gain from Internet adoption. The BRICS countries are not the only ones that have gained a lot from globalization and the Internet, but they have a vast amount of room to grow as compared to other countries. For example, in China's case, its economy has been growing so rapidly for the past 20 years or so due to its investments in international trade and industry that their GDP stands at over $12 trillion. The US was not blessed with resources, and the four BRICS nations are not either.